Guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. Today we're going to be talking about none other than Ben is Back. Now, let me just start off by saying, is it just me or has Netflix really improved on their movie selection lately? I feel like movie and series selection, or is it just the right timing for me when it comes to the movies that they're putting out, or do they just happen to be putting out things that I like? I don't know, but in the past, I feel like with Netflix, I always just watch everything that I want to see, and then I'm left with nothing, and I just feel like the selection just does not really appeal to me. But lately, there have been so many things that have piqued my interest on Netflix, so I am excited about that, so that way I can bring you guys more content. Now, on this movie, first of all, I don't know how this movie slipped through the cracks and I didn't see it, but it did come out in 2018. It's with none other than Julia Roberts, who I love. I feel that Julia Roberts is one of those actresses who can do drama and comedy and do an amazing job on both. So that's kudos to Julia Roberts. I like Julia Roberts. I do have a few videos on this channel where I talk about certain actors and actresses who I like a lot, and Julia Roberts is one of the ones that I do like. At any rate, moving right along, in this movie we have Lucas Hedges, who plays Julia Roberts' son. I believe he's her oldest child. And then we have Courtney B. Vance. He plays her husband. Now, when the movie starts off, first of all, it's like a blended family. She has 2 children by her ex-husband, and then she has 2 children by her current husband. So they're in a blended family situation. They have this son who is an addict. So right there, it caught my attention because usually these types of films are pretty interesting. So he's an addict, and I love that they kind of like addressed the opioid issue, and they went there and they, brought a light to that, and they shined a light on kind of like talking about how it affected the families, and, went into details about that. Between that and then the crack epidemic, those really devastated a lot of people's homes. Just generational things happen due to these drugs. So I think it's always good to see movies that shine a light on them and, bring it to people's attention, because a lot of people suffered during those times. At any rate, Julia Roberts, she has his son. He's 19 years old, and he ends up, what happened was he had something wrong with him, and then he ended up getting addicted to drugs, and I guess some kind of opioids, probably painkillers, basically, for the most part. So he got addicted to painkillers, and it sent him down a horrible, horrible, slippery slope. In this movie, what I like about it is it kind of starts off with him being with the family, but they keep talking about all these things that have happened. And at first I was a little annoyed, like, well, what happened? I'm thinking, like, what did he do? Like, what was so bad? Like, what? It kind of had my curiosity up, but I liked the way they played it out because it all ended up making sense, as the movie went along. It just kind of kept you in suspense a little bit more, as opposed to just giving you everything up front. So it's a little bit of suspense because you're kind of like, what's going to happen with this kid? And it's also like, you feel like, yes, he's going to go down the right path. No, he's not. Yes, he is. It's kind of a tug of war with this guy because you can't tell if he's doing the right thing or if he's not doing the right thing. Is he lying or is he telling the truth? And by him being an addict, it's like, oh, he's probably lying. That's how they kind of like make the movie seem. But at any rate, it's a good movie. It just digs, to me, the way it made me feel was empathy for families who have gone through, any type of crisis when it deals with family members being an addict. Not only does the addict go through everything that they go through and all the suffering and the pain and, the addiction issues, but the family, if you have family members that are involved and that love you and that are trying to help you get out of this situation, they go through hell. And it kind of just showed a little bit snippets of how this affected this family, but also without diving too deep into it, it kind of was like more like on the surface a little bit. but it gave you enough to understand, okay, this family has been impacted by what has happened. Now, with the smaller children, I don't know if they were too young to kind of know what was going on with him, but it was kind of like with them. The one thing I did notice, if I'm going to criticize anything, it seems like the younger children were kind of oblivious to what was going on, and they were old enough to kind of to understand that someone has a problem or someone is acting out. But the way they kind of portrayed them, they didn't really seem like they were grasping, all the dangerous things that their big brother had did. I don't know if they just wanted it to seem like, oh, they're kids, they're innocent, they love unconditionally. Maybe that's the angle they were going. Not sure, but I feel like I would have, if I could critique anything, I would have had the children kind of react a little differently towards him, like be a little distant, or maybe like, yeah, something to show that they too were impacted by his behavior. And when you, I don't want to give away too much because it's going to spoil it, but when you watch it, you'll see what I mean. Like, you would think if he did all the things that, they said he did, I mean, well, he did, but with all the things that he did, you would think the kids would be they would have been more just impacted by it emotionally. But the only one that seemed to really be impacted by it was his sister, who was like closer to his age. At any rate, moving right along, Julia Roberts, she has this husband, she's married, and there's also like a slight strain on her marriage due to the fact that her son is causing all these issues because he's an addict. So it shows like what it's doing to kind of her marriage to a little bit. Again, they don't go super, super deep on that either. But, it's like a lot of this is left up to you to figure it out. So they throw enough at you so you can put two and two together and realize, oh yeah, this is impacting their marriage. If this keeps up, it could cause problems, big, big, big problems with the marriage kind of thing. But you also see that they love each other and they're kind of sticking it out. But you also see that the marriage is kind of like you can see that there's some issues. And there's not like a lot of chemistry between her and her husband. You can just tell that they've been dealing with a lot of stuff. And that's kind of how they put it out there without really just showing you everything that they went through and them saying exactly how they feel kind of thing. It's not really that type of movie. It's more of a surface where it's easy enough for you to figure out what's going on. But I'm just saying they don't just totally lay it out for you. It is a great movie, though. I think Julia Roberts did an amazing job. I enjoyed her in this movie. It shows like a mother's love and how unconditional a mother's love is, because there was like some parts of the movie where she was even putting herself in danger trying to help this child of hers who, was an addict. It also shows parents who had children who were addicts that actually passed away from being an addict, and that was sad as well. You got to kind of see that side just a little bit. Like I said, this movie kind of skims over but does enough so you can feel the pain and feel like, oh, that's horrible, but they don't just linger on it in this movie. It moves fast. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you guys will enjoy it too. Again, it's called Ben is Back. It is on Netflix, and just check it out. Let me know what you think. Comment below if you've seen it and let me know how you feel about it. If you do end up watching it, comment below and let me know if you think it was a good recommendation. Until next time, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.